I want to teach you a few things that are important to know about using a knife. I'm going to teach you how to use a knife in one vegetable, zucchini. Start out by cutting the ends off. For those of you who don't know, we don't eat those. And I'm going to start cutting the zucchini like this, but before I actually do that, I'm going to cut it in half lengthwise. I do that for two reasons. One, I don't like things that wobble, and two, it gives me more control of the knife. So stand up straight, go like this, and put your hands down. You can pray if you want to, but it's actually not a prayer thing, it's a position. That's how your knife should meet the food. It's a 90-degree angle, but it's not this 90-degree angle, it's this one, which allows me to do this. And I can just move my knife in a really nice, rhythmic fashion. It's like the thing that holds the wheels on the train as it's going. So I'm going to do all my cutting on the forward motion, slice, lift. And it lets me go really, really fast and really, really safely. The other kind of thing, you see people do this all the time. I actually think you see that on the Food Network because it's rhythmic and it's a good sound effect. But it's a little like coming in for a kill every time you hear the noise. It's dangerous, you're going to get a finger. This, you're running in a track. I can do this without looking, although I probably would recommend that you look for a while. So as you're cutting, your fingers should be curled under. If you just take your hand and naturally go like that on the food, that's how your fingers go. But then the tips are aimed down, and you can actually use your knuckles as a guide. It's kind of hard to cut yourself if you do that. I'm going to show you something with garlic. If you cook, you hit the garlic with the side of the knife and the peel comes off. But I find that when people do garlic, hit one more time, they have a habit of doing a couple of things that I don't like to do. This one's just being a little bit fussy, just because it's huge. So the first thing most people want to do now is they want to cut that little woody thing off. I don't. It's something for me to hold on to while I'm doing the rest of the garlic. If you've done a lot of this with garlic, you know it sticks to the knife all the time and you're constantly scooping it off. So instead of doing that, I use the back of my knife to do garlic. This is a fat cutting board so I can be on the side so you can see me really well, but pretend you know karate. Little hard hits. The garlic blasts to bits. Now I'll throw the little woody thing away, and it didn't stick to my knife. Just so you know, if you try that, it's a little easier watching me than the first time you do it, kind of like the first time you try to drive a car with a clutch. It doesn't quite work, even though you thought you knew where everything went. This is an onion. Those are the roots. This is the top or the flower end. I'm going to cut the top of it off. Two reasons. One, it's garbage. Two, I like flat surfaces on my cutting board. I grew up, I would have made a nick in this and peeled the onion. I think it's a lot easier to cut it in half through the root, just like that. Now, I can peel it with my fingers, and I can do it off my cutting board so I don't get all that extra papery stuff on my work surface. So to dice an onion, I need to make some horizontal cuts and then some vertical cuts. And again, this is fat, so you can kind of see my hands a little better on the side. So fingers up. Your palm makes a really nice holder, and you're going to make little sawing motions. And the reason I like the sawing motions is I don't want to cut through the root, and I have a lot more control when I'm doing that. Then I'm going to make vertical cuts, again, being careful not to cut through the root. And I keep saying that because I don't want you to cut through the root, because it's all still attached. This is one thing with a flat bottom, so it holds itself together. So now when I dice it, I get nice, even pieces, which when I put them in a skillet means they cook at an even rate of speed. Now I'll throw this away. Again, kind of held it together for me. It's a lot easier for it to hold itself together than you to try to hold a pile of slimy sticks. That's how I do onions. Apple. When I do apples, I cut them in half, whether I peel them or not, and then I cut them in quarters. And now I can take my knife at a 90-degree angle and cut through the core. Do that one more time, but I'm going to do it wrong. Listen. Okay, I was hitting seeds. Nobody wants to eat what's in there. That means you have to aim higher till you get that nice swoosh sound. Again, I have a nice flat surface, and I'm going to make radial cuts. And the nice thing about doing an apple like this is that I get pieces that are all the same looking, and they don't have a gouged out center where the core used to be. So if I'm doing brie and apples, this looks nice. They look nice when I'm making a pie and tart, and they fan out. And they're also nice to just eat this way.